Hello drivers! Last month we celebrated the 18th anniversary of the release of Driver 3, and to mark the occasion we will discuss 3 features and elements that were cut from Driver 3. These materials were found on all websites of past Reflection devs, but I will discuss about these findings more at the end of the video. To summarize, we will talk about animals, hijack animation and Kalita early design. Enjoy! First, animals, and I'm not talking about props animals but living ones. Indeed, it appears that at least cats were planned but later cut due to memory saving and optimization. On an old portfolio website, we can see a GIF of the cat in action in a street of Nice. Animals such as dogs were already in Stuntman. This feature is not surprising, but it is rather sad that they were not able to keep them in Driver 3, at least in their living state. Because if you remember, there are quite a lot of dead animals in the game, and I even made a video compilation of all of them. So it's hard to tell which one were planned to be alive besides cats. By the way, its model remain in the Bunker Armory of Miami. My guess is that dogs, cats and different birds were planned based on previous games that have some, so Driver 1, 2 and also Stuntman, and they would have made the street more lively than what they ended up being, especially with the lack of pedestrian, but that's indeed because the engine could not handle too much models at the same time that the animals were cut in favor of pedestrians and cars. Who knows, maybe sea animals were also considered to fill up the water sections or even to earth Tanner if he stayed too long in the water. But that's a stretch, and I guess it would not have worked well considering that we not even get the police boats in the final version besides in one mission. The second cut feature is even more a loss, as it should have been in the final game, a dedicated bike hijack animation. I already covered the cut animations of Driver 3, which are still in the game files, but this one is absent from the batch. But the good thing is that we can still see how it should have looked thanks again to a short video on an old website. Third and final for today is an old version of the cutscene sequence where Kalita triggers the explosion. What's interesting is that it is the beta version of her look that we briefly saw in early trailers, and now in that beta cutscene that doesn't have the yellow flashback filter of the final version at the end of the Siege mission. Those websites are a great source of cut content in action. As you can see, it is indeed much more interesting than be able to see what the features would have been and to what extent they developed it, rather than just a mention in an interview or just fan theories. So, there are still content we haven't talked about, like the famous cut minimap icons, or maybe some that we have not even found yet. There are also official content that are kept at Reflections, such as the big book full of cutscenes artworks that will be amazing to see what's inside. But that's Reflection to do something with it and not the community. And to end this video, I'm going to come back to how this content was found. And in this case, most of the information come from Evan only, who is active in the comments of my video but also on the Driver Discord. And like many fans, including myself, we like to browse old websites to get the nostalgia of reading news about driver games. And sometimes we can find screenshots, interviews or videos, but many websites are not up anymore after all this time and many content are lost that way. With enough determination, it is possible to get back some of them thanks to archive.org, for example. And another way to find new content is by finding websites from people who worked on the driver series, such as the 3 cut elements from this video were found this way. And it requires hours of research because it is not just about typing a name on Google, but rather search intensively to maybe find something, especially as these websites may also be down after all this time. So, of course, it happens quite a lot in the process to find something that we thought was new, but that was indeed already talked about months ago on the driver Discord. Anyway, I still prefer to talk again about something driver related than missing the chance to see something new. And lately, a new area of research have been old recap video of E3 showroom from the past in order to find a few seconds of footage that could have been running on an older build. And that's all for today. Thanks for watching the video. You can use the button to directly thank me, or you can consider to join the Redriver Club and get access to exclusive emojis. Thanks to my Redriver producers, DriverDimension.com, French Contact, Neurosins, Tenkon on YouTube, Emmett McLaughlin, Paul Lanois, Denis Frontier, Carguy50, David Arundon, Thomas Lewis, and Mute. Your support is greatly appreciated, and I hope to give you more content and stream this month. And in any case, see you soon, drivers.